Okay, we got Awakened with JP on the channel today, friends. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Yeah, we finally got Trump now. 37 count federal indictment. Fair and square, promise. He faces hundreds of years in prison.
It's crazy.
Now, we've been taking a little heat lately on a completely unfair mischaracterization that we've been providing cover for the Biden administration's actual crimes.
Unfair mischaracterization? Are you serious?
While persecuting his political opponent, Donald J. Trump. But
it does seem like the media like to say, oh, you cannot look at the DOJ, and the FBI with a negative lens because of what's happening to Mr. Trump. Sure.
that's not what we're doing. Swear to God.
Do you believe in God?
Not at all. Why do you ask? Some people recall how on the
Because you just swore to God, JP.
same day the Oversight Committee accessed suspicious activity reports on potential corruption within the Biden crime family, Soros-backed District Attorney Alvin Bragg indicted Trump. And that's not a tactic of weaponization. It's really a shame, actually, because having to investigate Trump for what we said he did diverted our resources from investigating Biden for what he actually did. And you know, all of us at the Bureau were remorseful, to say the least.
Well, the news came out. The president's son was investigated, got a slap on the wrist, only on a gun charge. And the other stuff that he did in his connection to his father's, well, it sounds like it's his father's business. He looks like he was working for his father. But yeah, with all the bribe money and all this stuff. And I don't want to get into the gossipy side of the politics stuff because politicians are corrupt. For the most part, they are. Few of them are doing the right thing. But still, Mr. Trump is in big trouble. But the president's son is fine. He is good boy. He said, what did Mr. Biden said? That he is proud of his son? Proud of his son. Irrespective of all the facts that's out there. Okay. I mean, we should be happy and proud of our sons. I am proud of my son, but not proud of the things that he's doing wrong.
And then things start to look even more suspicious because on the exact same day that the House Investigative Committee got access to a document showing alleged proof of a $5 million bribery scheme between Joe and an overseas entity, Trump was indicted again.
Whoa.
37 counts to be exact. Now, Biden's innocence is obvious when you consider it's much better for our democracy when you divert your attention to how we just indicted Trump. 37 counts. I mean, how could you not want to focus on that? And if you're still feeling a little suspicious of our one-sided approach to the justice system, because you're one of those people who's putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4, then could I just say, look over there, there's aliens.
Yeah, I'm still very doubtful of this alien business because this is not to say there are not some stuff out there, but I read my Bible and I'm like, Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light, 2 Corinthians chapter 11. So when you read scripture, you will realize that there's more like a deception happening behind the scenes. Now, this is not to say there are not other lives, other places. I'm certainly believe that, but I'm not necessarily sure if we have any contact with them in the way that they want us to believe, okay? But maybe it's a major distraction. We have a whistleblower now who came out and was saying that from the highest top, now I'm coming out and telling you what the Pentagon and what's going on and that the government is behind this and they're allowing you to know this stuff today. Well, it's like, maybe it's because they want you to know this stuff. Maybe there's nothing to know. Maybe they want you to be distracted. They want you to believe in something that may not be exactly what it actually is. I'm just saying, whenever I hear government coming out and admitting to anything, I always question myself, like, could it possibly be there is an ulterior motive?
Yeah, it's really starting to look like aliens are amongst us. I mean, we definitely didn't want the existence of aliens to get out, but gosh darn it, it has. Look at this little guy. He's just doing alien things. Let's focus on this. I'm not really aware of the location of his genital tissues, but nonetheless, Very dangerous little guys. Could they be posing an imminent threat to the people of Earth?
I heard.
We don't know, but the answer is definitely yes. That should leave you in enough fear that you desperately want someone to protect you, and thus you become more loyal to your captors. Us. Leveraging Stockholm Syndrome against you.
That's crazy. That is actually true. So there is this eminent enemy kind of thing that you have to keep creating, just like similar to the Penicillin 19 pandemic. You know, we had this virus and all of a sudden everybody needs to fall in line, you know, with the guidelines and the mandates. And it's supposed to be emergency use only and was never approved by the FDA, but doesn't matter. Roll up your sleeve, boy, because I got to protect you from an enemy. It's like, how many more times are we going to keep falling for this?
U.S. citizens is necessary to preserve the democracy that we tell you you're still living in.
Hasn't Biden done the exact same thing that Trump is being indicted for?
Well, we've heard the rumors that Biden has done the exact same thing of having illegal classified documents. But with Biden, it's completely different because he had more of them in a less secure location, his garage. And therefore,
JP, that makes matters worse.
it's not a crime. They were by a Corvette, for crying out loud. Corvettes are constitutional.
Did you know that a big part
Are
of
you
propaganda
serious?
is accusing your enemy of what you're doing?
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, that's absurd. If
That's funny.
we wanted to do that, which we aren't, and the thought never even crossed our minds, we wouldn't even be able to. Because for a regime to implement such a deceptive strategy, they'd have to control virtually all mainstream media for it to work.
And they do.
And we obviously don't have that kind of control.
It seems like you do control all mainstream media.
I think beside a few conservative channels and also Twitter, I don't think conservative even controls Twitter. They're just allowing all kind of thoughts to go on Twitter thanks to Elon Musk. But for the most part, the Democrats are in control of everything in the media. And they are just appealing and doing the bidding of the establishment. There used to be a time the Democrats used to question the government. They used to advocate for small governments. They used to talk about freedom. But it seems like the freedom they talk about today is freedom that falls within the confinement of the establishment's narrative. Is this freedom that goes against God's word, a freedom where everybody's sexuality is celebrated, freedom for aborting children however we want? That's the freedom they're advocating for. But again, it's politics, right? Politics.
Not Fox.
They just got rid of Tucker Carlson.
Fox is just as bad, boy.
Oh, yeah.
At least Fox covers stories that I would say MSNBC, ABC, CNN, they will not touch with a 10-foot pole. So I can give Fox some credit here. Doesn't mean they are, they still promote similar stuff and there's some issues. There's some things they don't even touch. There are other things that's going on. Fox News will stay away from. But it's still at least talk about a number of things that other channels will not touch. I'll give them credit for that. But when you go down to see who owns Fox and many of those other liberal channels and conservative channels, you're like, these are the same guys, man. They're playing golf together. They're all friends. It's like, here we are fighting among ourselves between Democrats and Republicans. Guys, I think we are being deceived.
We do control them all now, don't we? No, we don't. As far as I'm concerned, what they're all doing is just honest journalism and coincidentally arriving at the exact same conclusions 100% of the
It's all propaganda. I think this is why Tucker Carlson is such a major figure. The fact they got rid of him and now he's on Twitter and he's able to share his view, boy, they don't know what to do with themselves. And I think if you want to get the news, you better off find a YouTuber. That's why I listen to A Weekend with JP. I go to Steven Crowder. I'll listen to like Black Conservative Officer Tatum. I will go to Candace Owens sometime, and I will kind of like take segments from different people. You better off going in these different places, these alternative medias networks, than to go to the mainstream media. Mainstream media is control. Okay, the puppeteer is controlling it. The puppet master is controlling them. They They have to say, they have to read off their script, they have to say things, and they have to leave off certain matters. I saw a video of Fox News, for as much respect I have for Fox News. They will not touch certain things. They will just stay away from it. Like, there are some things that has to do with the Bohemian Grove, certain things that's going on with the Bilderbergs and so on. Fox News won't touch that. But these are real things that other channels are talking about. There are a few more news channels that I've listened to that are decent, but for the most part, it's all corruption and propaganda.
Time in support for one side and happening to be unsupportive towards our enemies.
That's quite a coincidence.
Well, I guess the odds may ever be in our favor. But do you know what else is a threat to our democracy? Letting Trump run for re-election without us interfering to create the election outcome that will happen regardless. Of course, for our democracy.
That doesn't sound like what...
This is why I believe Trump is in serious trouble, because they can't control Trump as much as they're controlling Biden and so on. Trump is against war. Trump wants, stop all this funding going toward Ukraine. Trump is against the climate change movement. Trump is against the Green New Deal. Trump is against any socialist, globalist goals. He's against businesses looking for ways to control the population and everything. He gets to the heart of our financial issues. And Trump is against a lot of things. Like, he's against the deep state, and he's rich, so they can't control him. So he's not bought, so they can't use him financially. And he is willing to put himself out on the lamb, making the necessary sacrifice, irrespective of the fact they want to lock him up. It is very obvious. The reason they're going after Trump the way that they are is because Trump is a threat. He's a threat to the system, and they can't stand the man. And this is why I love him.
What happens in a democracy, it sounds like totalitarianism.
Yeah, that's right. Check that. That's incorrect. Democracy.
That's
It's
exactly
been said
what it
that
is.
Biden wants Trump to virtually be given a death sentence over these latest indictments.
Yeah, they definitely want him dead.
Yeah, they want him dead, but Biden had the same exact documents and more, and he was not president, and he had no business having them. And the president has the right to declassify any document. And secondly, the president, by the Presidential Record Act, he has the right to actually not giving them back also. Did you know that? He actually can say no. He can actually say no, regardless of being asked 100 times. He may be subpoenaed, but fine. He has the right not to return them. That's a powerful position that a vice president have. And yet they're using that against them. But again, it goes to show there's some corruption going on here.
Hard for him to stop what the Biden administration is being used to implement if he's spending a few hundred years in prison or until he dies, whichever comes first. But regardless, we all want him JFK'd one way or another.
You better not. You see, I've said this before. If we're not careful with this, Trump, they will JFK Trump. They will JFK Trump, and this will turn America upside down. But remember what happened with JFK. The world's never been the same ever since. And they don't want to do that because they know this will have some serious backlash attached to it. I can see those congressional meetings and everything, and yada yada yada. They've been trying to get Trump for a while. But if they JFK Trump, if they cancel Trump, if they delete Trump, boy, that is gonna. I'm telling you, this will destroy the entire system. But even by putting him behind bars, the idea is they're crucifying him, right? What do you call it? Death by multiple cuts, right? So the goal is to get Trump to become nothing, right? They're trying to wear him out, and eventually he's getting older and everything. And that also stops him from carrying out his duty. Even when he becomes president, those indictments will keep on coming. Those charges will keep on coming. And that's going to be a major distraction. And he won't be able to carry out his job. It's really bad. And now thinking of the idea that there's a possibility Trump could be canceled, could be JFK's. Could you imagine what the reactions and the backlash will be? Man, I don't want to be alive to see that.
I've heard reports that Trump has said he will still run for president even if he's in jail.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, is Epstein's prison cell still available?
See, I told you. Oh, JP, you too much.
Good, get it ready. And make sure the security cameras that definitely never fail are quote unquote properly installed.
Of course, never.
We'll handle it. We just want to make sure the American people get a very fair election.
So because you want Americans to have such a fair election, will you finally be acknowledging the existence of Hunter Biden's laptop?
Can't do that. That's just Russian misinformation and whatnot. And also remember aliens.
Will you be coughing up the full unredacted document from the credible FBI source that proves that Biden was involved in a $5 million overseas bribery scheme?
Can't do that. It would put our source's life in grave danger.
Does that mean that you suspect the Biden family would be looking to have him killed if their crimes were exposed because of him?
Yeah, that's right.
If you think the sitting president would have someone killed who has incriminating evidence on him, don't you think that's something that you should come forward with?
The consequences on
These are all great questions.
that, and it's just not really what we do in a democracy. I mean, just remember Trump, 37 count indictment, and aliens.
Blink twice if you need help.
Oh my Lord, JP, that was great. That was great. All right, you get one of those, JP. I'll give you one of those. I mean, I can see right through it. I'm telling you, this is a serious matter. You don't have to be political. This is a matter that will impact the country. Now, whatever happens to Trump from this point forward, it will determine the direction of our country. It will determine the direction of our election. It will determine our trust in our government. Now, I heard just about 15 years ago, 67% of Americans trusted the government. Today, it's about 17%. So our confidence in the government has decreased tremendously. Now, I want to say not 17 years ago. We're talking about before JFK's assassination. We used to believe in the in the government, but that has tremendously changed from 67 to 17%, which increases every time corruption like this happen. People look at this, especially the people in the middle, the people who are apolitical, people who are just like standing in between and watching this stuff. They're like, this is not good. And they pull away from the system. And I'm telling you, these people who are keep pushing this, politicizing the DOJ for the purpose of going after a political opponent who is leading in the poll, who has the potential, I mean, his likelihood of winning the election is like, we can say 100%. This is the man you're going after in the middle of an election cycle. And while you're covering up the crimes of the son and the father, and Hillary Clinton is not locked up still. Like, listen, friends, this stuff is bad. Like, this is not a good look on the United States. And it goes to show our system is broken. Our system is completely broken and something needs to be done. And that needs to happen real, real soon. But again, what can we say? Should we be shocked? I'm not shocked. Let me read the Bible to you. Let me read to you something. Look at verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. That is what we're looking at. We have evil men, seducers. They are getting worse. They don't get better. The media has waxed worse and worse. They are deceiving people. They themselves are deceived. And you can tell some of these people in the media, they're lying. You can see in their face that they're lying. It's like they lie with a good jargon. They lie with articulation of speech. They lie with many words. And you're like, bruh, we know you lying. Stop. But this is where we are today, friends. And I'm telling you, at this stage of the world, I would say set your eyes upon Jesus, because like John the Baptist says, look unto Jesus and live by faith. If you're putting your confidence in government, and this is not to say we cannot hope for the best. This is not to say we can't vote. This is not to say we can't support something, right? That's not the point. But if you're putting your confidence and hope in men, I'm telling you, you're going to be disappointed. Your heart is going to be broken. Even Trump is someone we should pray for, believe that God can use in a mighty way, but don't make the mistake to think he cannot fail. Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sins of the world. And I will say, turn your eyes up on Jesus. It's okay to vote. It's okay to pay attention. It's okay to look into these things. But please keep your eyes on Jesus. Because these people, some of these people are crazy. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Check out our merch below. This is the store. Go find something to put on. Christ for the Crisis. This is my personal favorite. I'm waiting for this one to come home. Waiting for it. It's been a little while now. I think it's been about a week since I ordered that. Remember, God over the government. James 5:29. We must obey God rather than men. This is Bible. This is Bible. So go over there, man. This is God's rainbow of promise. Yep. We're taking the rainbow back. It belongs to Jesus. It reminds us of grace, forgiveness, and a warning of judgment. So God is not going to flood the world again, but he's got fire. Okay, friends. Thank you so much for listening. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Link to this video in the description below. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.